A Norcross mother found dead at her home. Police say her 3 children were inside.
Imagine getting a speeding ticket in the mail and you were never stopped by a police officer. It's close to happening in Georgia.
And lockdown on campus. A Michigan college student murders his parents inside a dorm. Tonight, he's still on the run.
Live from Atlanta, 11Alive at 5 starts now.
On this Friday afternoon, first, our top story, a Norcross mother murdered in her own home. Here's the information that we have for you today. Her children were inside. That is what we know. Police believe that this man, Perth Earl, the father of 2 of those children, is responsible. But tonight, he is still on the run. Investigators fear he may have left our state.
11Alive's Latasha Givens is live in Gwinnett County with more on the search for Earl.
Good evening, Jennifer and Jeff. Police have been searching for Earl since this morning. They say he fled the scene before they arrived. They also say they're familiar with this home behind me on Phil Negro Parkway because the victim made several calls to police, including 3 last year, in which she says the suspect either showed up and refused to leave or assaulted her. Now police are hoping to find him soon.
This is really shocking right now. I'm actually shaking up.
Mabina woke up to learn her neighbor Angela Burnett was killed. Her body was left inside her home with her 3 children.
But I'm so worried about those kids.
We don't believe right now that those other 3 people witnessed what actually happened, but we are investigating this as a homicide investigation. There was no obvious signs of trauma to her body, like no gunshot wounds and no stab wounds.
Police say they were tipped off that something may have happened inside the home by a caller who was linked to Perth Earl. Police say he's the father of Burnett's 2 youngest children. Police believe Earl has fled the state.
We found evidence to support that a domestic happened between the suspect and the victim.
This is a very quiet neighborhood.
Frances Baber has lived across the street for 10 years. She often watches the younger children get on and off the school bus.
It hits home, because I mean, as you can see, I'm right across from there, so it hits home.
Earl has been charged with malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault. And again, police believe he fled the state of Georgia and headed north. Police also say the children are in the care of their relatives. If you know the whereabouts of Perth Earl, contact police. In Gwinnett County, I'm Latasha Givens, 11Alive News.
New at 5, a Rockmart High School junior is now facing charges after a social media threat forced the entire school district to go into lockdown yesterday. As the story first brought you is breaking news at 5. Tonight, 17-year-old Zariah Aaron McRae is facing 2 counts of terroristic threats and 2 counts of disrupting a public school. Police say she posted a message on Snapchat threatening to shoot up Cedartown High and Rockmart. That resulted in Polk County locking down all 10 of its schools for several hours. Today, more support for students and staff at Dalton High School 2 days after a teacher shot out a window of a classroom. 11Alive's Jennifer Leslie was there as students returned to class this morning. Their mood thankful today.
Sunrise marked a new day at Dalton High School, a new beginning even. But students told us it won't be easy to forget about the past.
This is going to be so weird to have to walk by that room and walk by that door and know that what went on there and the fear of like having to run. That's just...
Room 413 won't be off limits. For now, there's plywood covering the window that was shattered when police say social studies teacher Randall Davidson fired 1 shot in distress.
Because he was such a good man, and just like thinking about him being that sad to want to make that kind of decision and like not think about anything else but that, it just makes me sad.
These friends came to school in their spirit wear and brought a big thank you card for students to sign.
This is just how we kind of want to come together and just show our support for all of our teachers and administrators and just show everybody that we're just one big family and that nothing can break us.
They will move forward together. Jennifer Leslie, 11Alive News.
There were shots fired on the campus of Central Michigan University today. This evening, police are looking for this man, 19-year-old James Eric Davis Jr. He is accused of killing his parents inside a freshman dorm this morning. Police say his parents arrived today to take him home for spring break. No other students or staff were hurt in the shooting. Police said they had contact with Davis last night and then took him to a local hospital where he was turned over to the medical staff for what they believe may have been some sort of drug-related issue. A Metro Atlanta PE teacher has resigned after officials say he mistakenly showed porn to a class of 6th graders. This happened Tuesday at Sandy Springs Middle School. Officials say the teacher was using his personal computer to show an instructional video when a few seconds of porn popped up. The principal reported it to HR, and the teacher then chose to resign. The school says it also notified parents.
Jury selection is scheduled to begin Monday in Tex McIver's murder trial. He's the prominent Atlanta attorney charged in the shooting death of his wife. McIver doesn't deny he shot his wife, but he says it was all an accident. He says he fell asleep in the backseat of a car with a loaded gun in his lap, and it accidentally went off, hitting his wife, who was sitting in the front passenger seat.
Another search is planned this weekend for a CDC worker who disappeared without a trace. Timothy Cunningham was last seen leaving work on February 12th. Tomorrow, family and friends plan to work with Atlanta police to search an area near the CDC Stanford building, and that is on Brandywine Road. Police are saying just before Cunningham disappeared, he learned that he had been passed up for a promotion. He left work on the 12th, saying he felt ill, and he has not been heard from since.
Well, after a week of clouds and rain, folks were finally able to enjoy some blue and sunny skies today. What a treat for a Friday. Meteorologist Samantha Moore tracking what's ahead for the weekend. Sam, it's looking nice, but maybe a little bit chilly.
It will be chilly in the mornings, but I think during the afternoon it's going to feel pretty good, because I know a lot of folks are going to be out doing yard work. I've had dozens of folks tell me that. So I know that it is going to be a little chilly to start. Maybe it'll give you an excuse to get a little later start in the day, because we will be down around freezing in the early morning hours. It won't be quite as windy as today. So today it's a little hard to be outside working because we've had these winds gusting some 30, 35 miles per hour commonly across North Georgia. Right now we have a 28-mile-per-hour gust here at the airport, 20 miles per hour in Marietta, 24 miles per hour in Gainesville. So it's going to be breezy if you're out on the town tonight. Definitely grab a jacket before you head out, because it is going to be pretty chilly as these northerly winds continue to blow. This is all tied in with, when you may have heard of that giant nor'easter, that monster nor'easter going up the East Coast, stranding many travelers. Some 2,850 flights have been canceled as a result of the gusty winds here across the Northeast, and they're dealing with not just the wind, but the rain and the snow here. They've seen upwards of a foot across parts of upstate New York. And as far as we're concerned, we're going to see that cooler air moving in around that circulation as we head into the overnight hours. So yes, we do have a freeze watch that's in place for much of North Georgia, including northern parts of the metro and even into the center of town. We could see temperatures near freezing. Remember your pets, and remember those sensitive plants you may have put in the ground last weekend, possibly. We'll have more on this coming up.
Thank you, Samantha. Georgia drivers could get speeding tickets without ever seeing the face of a police officer. This bill passed on Wednesday. Now, it lets cameras and speed sensors generate speeding tickets inside school zones. 11Alive's Doug Richards has more on what the bill would do.
Outside a DeKalb County school in October, police say a driver struck and killed 4-year-old Lung Tong as her mother walked her to Indian Creek Elementary School. A few weeks later in Cobb County, a car struck and killed a school crossing guard, Edna Ume, as she was directing children walking to school. Both fatalities occurred in school zones, typically spots where speed limits are lower.
Why is everybody not alarmed by that? And so hopefully, using these speed detection cameras, we're able to catch the people that are speeding through our school zones and making our kids unsafe.
State Rep Erica Thomas backed a bill that would allow cameras and sensors to automatically send traffic tickets to motorists caught speeding through school zones.
It's scary for our children.
If it passes, critics say that this would be the first time in Georgia that a speeding ticket could be issued without the input of a living, breathing police officer.
This is a terrible idea.
Before the bill passed the House Wednesday, one of them implored lawmakers to find another way to make school zones safer.
Friends, please, please, let's not take this step as a state. Let's be wiser than this, and let's not start to let cameras manage people on our roads.
The state has already allowed cameras to send tickets to motorists violating red light laws, though some cities have since dismantled those systems.
The ayes are 94, the nays are 76.
The House narrowly passed the school zone camera bill late Wednesday night. The state Senate will decide next. Doug Richards, 11Alive News.
An emotional day in Charlotte, North Carolina, as Reverend Billy Graham was laid to rest.
To God be the glory, great things he hath done, that he gave us his son.
2,300 guests, including the president and vice president, filled a huge tent at the Billy Graham Library to honor the man known by many as just America's pastor. The service included performances by musicians who shared the stage with Graham at his crusades and speeches from his children who described their father as a faithful servant of God.
My father was not God, but he showed me what God was like that day. When we come to God with our sin, our brokenness, our failure, our pain, and our hurt, God says, welcome home. And that invitation is open for you.
My father was fat. He was faithful, he was available, and he was teachable.
He has often said that someday you'll read that Billy Graham is dead. He said, don't you believe one word of it. He said, I'll be more alive than I am now. I'll have just changed addresses, that's all.
Graham died February 21st at the age of 99. He will be buried next to his wife on library grounds. If you'd like to see more of Graham's funeral, we've posted the full video of that service on our website, 11alive.com.
Coming up next at 5, NBA star Steph Curry trashes a hotel room in Atlanta, then posts a picture of the damage on Instagram. The backlash on social media tonight.
And forget Tide Pods. The latest internet challenge involves a hot stove of all things. The warning that parents need to hear about tonight.